I'll tell you twice the way I feel. Here's my advice. I told you once, and I'll tell you twice the way I feel. Here's my advice.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of Shakedown. Now, for this week's topic, I thought originally I was actually going to talk about men's attitudes to money, if they're earning more or less than their loved one, and I figured I would want to talk about that, but no. What I wanted to talk about, I just couldn't ignore anymore. I couldn't take it anymore because it's been bubbling along for the past few weeks or so. And I wanted to. Normally, I would actually talk about it on my social media platforms. I would like say that this is wrong, this is right, whatever. But this one really kind of takes the cake, and I really wanted to kind of get this off my chest. And basically, I wanted to talk about the whole sexual harassment case that's been going on, from Harvey Weinstein to Westminster, even now to Oxfam. And I wanted to talk about all this scandal and what I feel about it. This is my opinion, by the way. If you got your opinion about it, please let me know, and we can all have an open and frank discussion about it. So so it was pretty much the end of 2017. Well, we're into the third month of 2018, and I've heard about this film producer Harvey Weinstein, and I didn't really known about him that much. I'm pretty clued up with most celebrities and everything, but I didn't know who he was. And I did some digging, and he was behind such big films in Hollywood. Too many to name, and I haven't got the time to actually go through all that. But what I'm saying is, he's a big Hollywood producer, and he's even got a production company called the Harvey Weinstein Company. And yeah, like when the news first surfaced, I was like, I wanted to sit down and think, right, okay, what's going on here? Is this something that women are trying to get themselves into the spotlight? Are they after attention? Are they after money? After all these things? But I sat down there and I kind of like heard what everybody had to say and read what everybody had to say, and I was horrified because we go into an industry. Yes, it's a very fickle thing when it's fame and everything. When you go into that sort of thing, you could be someone else on TV or on film, but when you're away from all that, you become an entirely different person. And I understand that to some extent, but with this one, I couldn't believe what was going on. So yeah, so in what was going on in 2017 is that more than 80 women have accused Harvey Weinstein of sexual harassment, assault, and rape. And there's been over 100 alleged instances by him, and they've been dating from 1980 to 2015, and had 18 allegations of rape. Now, I was like, what was going on? So I done even more digging. Apparently, Harvey Weinstein would invite these young actresses or models into a hotel room or an office, and they discussed their career, and then he would demand massages or sex. And he just literally said that if they didn't comply to what he wanted, they would destroy their careers and everything. And we all know what was going on and everything. So it's really horrifying. And I have to share a lot of sympathy with the women that's actually gone out there and been able to be brave to talk about this issue. And basically, it's just really horrifying, as I keep saying. But it's so... What kind of gets me about all this, right, is that you're in a position of power. Instead of actually meeting them in a public setting or something like that, to discuss seriously what their ambitions are and everything, and say, okay, what we're going to do to kind of help them. But there's a line you don't cross, and that's crossing the line. It's making them feel uncomfortable, making them kind of feel like, if I don't do this, I probably won't get anywhere. But there's some that are actually integral and everything, that they kind of walk away from the situation. But if they hear their name popped up in anything that they would like to do and everything, they're not gonna do it. So I'm like kind of really, really disgusted by what I've been reading about this and what I've been seeing on the news and everything about it. And it's just crazy. I'm just gonna go through some of the people that's actually that allegedly has happened. So you go through people like Heather Graham. She is in the second Austin Powers film. You got Eva Green. She's a bongo. You got Lena Headey. You got Angelina Jolie, Ashley Judd. She's in Double Jeopardy, the film. You got Marlene Klass, who's obviously from Hearsay, and she's fronting Littlewoods adverts, if you remember. There's also Lupita Nyong'o. I hope I pronounced that right. She's one of the people in the Black Panther film, and most notably Gwyneth Paltrow, who is in the Iron Man films. And I look at there and I just think, even Uma Thurman's in there. There's a lot of people in there. Some of them you might not know, but there's over 84 people that's been said down here, and I looked at it and I just kind of think to myself, what was going on? It's just crazy. So there's been rape allegations as well, and I've read through it. I read through this one. It's like, there's this one that's an unnamed actress told the LA Times that in 2013, Weinstein bullied his way into the hotel room, grabbed her by the hair, dragged her into the bathroom and raped her. And I just think, who does that? I couldn't do that. I personally couldn't do that. If I was in a position of power, if I'm gonna be in that sort of position, what I would be doing is I would be talking to the actress. I would be saying, okay, let's see what you've got in terms of your talent. If you can like read the script for me, and I'll be able to say like, okay, whether or not this is going to work for this film or whatever, or what you need to do to kind of get yourself to be in that sort of role and how you want to do it and everything. I would giving guidance such as that. That's what I would be doing, so that they can actually try and see if they can make it. But if I know that this person has that that X factor, then obviously I would be doing what I would be doing to make them a star. So I'll be introducing them to the right people. I'll be out there trying to help them and everything, getting them into the right places and that sort of thing. Because that's what I would like to do if I was in that position. I would never, ever, ever get into a position where I would walk around in nothing but a robe in a hotel room and everything, and trying to persuade them to actually do what they need to do. You know, I would never do anything for sexual gratification. We in this world now where people just don't think about certain things only for themselves, And I kind of sit there and kind of think to myself, why do we as people have to do all that? There's a bigger picture. You know, there's over 7 billion people in this world and everything. We have to start thinking less about ourselves and more thinking about what's going on around it, or one of us. Why can't we help each other to succeed, instead of having to think, I'm in this position of power, you're in this position where you're trying to make it and whatever. We should be trying to help each other to actually get where we need to be, you know, in life. So that's what I would be doing. And obviously with Weinstein and everything, he took a sabbatical, and he's working with therapists, and then he left the company. He left the company in October 15, 2017, and it's just kind of really, really, really sick, really, that it's gone to that point. Like, it's actually what's happened as well is that they started this movement called the Me Too movement, the Time's Up movement, and everything, and everybody has actually come out and shown some support for it. Not some support, it's mostly supported, and it's been very prominent and lately. And I think really it's time to stamp out all these things. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen because what if there's people who actually wanted to be actors and actresses? What if there's people out there who want to get into this sort of industry and actually try to be wants to be different and entertaining to everybody? You know, all the kids that's going around and think to themselves, I want to do that, but then they learn of the harsh realities of these sorts of things that happen. It's going to make them think twice. So I just don't like that at all. I really don't. But I just hope that this sort of thing gets stamped out, because it's actually not spread from there. And I'm going to move on. It's actually spread into to Westminster, and there's been a few cases where there's been sexual harassment that's been going down in Westminster. And I'm not going to get into the whole politics and everything, but I've been hearing about what was going on, and it's just kind of spread to that. And I just always think that to myself, where it's the government, when they're in there, they are there to have a job to do for running the country. And I wanted to talk about what in this day and age, right? You go to work, right? You're there to build up a relationship, a working relationship, and none gets more higher than being in government, really, because you're there representing the people, or supposedly representing the people, to get things moving, to make things better for everybody and everything. And obviously these people have to be held to account. And I think obviously ever since the Weinstein thing, people have actually spoken up, which is a good thing, you know, which is a very, very good thing. But I'm just looking through the scandals that's been taken case, and basically 2 cabinet ministers have resigned. Several MPs from different parties have been suspended. I don't know who exactly, but the government's promised action, and it's announced a cross-party working group to decide what's going to happen. But to me, what I've been reading here is that it's not really been dealt with, and I'm like kind of having to punch my fist against the wall here, because it's not like it's been talked about, stamping it out, but it's not nothing to be moved on. It's not moving quickly. And that's what I've been reading and everything, and I think it's appalling. And that kind of spans from Westminster to other workplaces. You have to kind of wonder, like with certain things. Yes, when you go into like a workplace and everything, you're gonna you're gonna be involved with characters. You're gonna have to build up a relationship, a rapport. You know, you're gonna have banter. You know, and you might experience the odd flirt here and there, but as long as it doesn't go to that level. But I think obviously with the working relationship now, right, I think obviously I've been hearing that some people have been harassed, but they have to kind of rise above it. Some of them can't, some of them don't really want to talk about it. Some people are just being strong-minded to say, look, okay, I'm not standing for this because I'm here to do a job, to actually get somewhere in life, not standing for it, you know. And there's some that's been out there hiding up into a little ball because it's happened to them and they don't want to talk about it and they can't talk about it. And I'm there looking at these poor people and I'm trying to say to them, speak out, because not everybody is against you. There are people out there that actually want to help you. So I kind of hate that sort of thing, but I really do. I really do. I'm going to move on to what's going on in Oxfam. I'm just getting things up here so that I can actually speak about this issue. It's so bad, really, with what's going on in this world, because I can't ignore it. Something needs to be done, you know, and it's kind of bad. I'm gonna move on to Oxfam, and there's been a big sexual scandal, and basically there's been the top Oxfam staff has been paid Haiti survivors for sex, and the charity covered it up. And I thought to myself, like, Oxfam is a world-renowned charity that goes and helps people in third world countries. And I looked at it, I remember when it broke out and everything, and I was like shocked to think that a charity could actually have that sort of thing when you're trying to help people. It's crazy. It's crazy, really. I'm just looking at it now, and it's been going on since the 9th of February. Yeah, it's like by the 11th of February, it's hit with more allegations that the staff, there's been sexual claims where it's been going on in Chad. The Sunday Times also reports new claims that more than 120 workers from the UK charities were accused of sexual abuse in the past year, and Oxfam announced the new measures for preventing and handling sexual abuse cases. But it's kind of been mad, really. It's really bad how it's been handled. The deputy chief executive, Penny Lawrence, resigned over this issue, and she's ashamed and takes full responsibility. I'm just looking at it now, and they made an advertisement saying how they're sorry. I'm gonna read through it now. It said in big in the Guardian, that's where it was actually advertised. They said that we are sorry. To Oxfam supporters, friends, and volunteers, we are so sorry for the appalling behaviour that's happened in our name. More than anything, we are sorry to the people of Haiti and other places where the conduct of Oxfam staff has been reprehensible. The sexual misconduct of former employees of Haiti during the 2011 and in Chad during 2006 should never have happened. We should have been more explicit in our reporting of these incidents. So, yeah, I looked on this thing, and I'm just like kind of think to myself, it just keeps going on and on and on, and it kind of makes you kind of think that there needs to be a wake up call, and with what's happening in Hollywood, what's happening in Westminster, and now to Oxfam, you kind of think to yourself, you shudder to think, like, where next? Where next? These things need to be stamped out. You can't go into a certain place now and just having to harass people like this. And I'm thinking to a men's mindset now, right, is what do you have to show for this? Why would you want to put yourself out there to cause trouble like that? Why? It just doesn't make any sense. And to me, it needs to stop before it gets a lot worse. A lot worse. Because you kind of think to yourself, right, that you know, you're going to have people that you can't work with and you can't deal with, right? Because you're doing this, and you're going to lead into a bad reputation. Yes, what Oxfam tried to do is try to cover it up and everything, trying to make things, yeah, nothing's going on, everything's fine and everything, but the big issue is that it's happening. And to those people who suffered from it as well, shouldn't have suffered from it, you know. We're all around to kind of do what we can to make money, to help people, whatever, to live life as positively as we possibly can. But you can't go on and do this. You just can't. And there's going to be a feeling that whereas one day, right, that we're like, what are you going to say to children? What are you going to say to children? What are you going to say to them, saying you can be anything, you can do anything? And it's true, of course, but if we are gonna have a workplace that has this in it, like, people won't want to work at all. You know, working life, right, should be a reason of being. It should be a reason of trying to make a living for yourself. It should be a reason where you can, for some people who've got certain issues and everything, it's a chance to escape and try to make sure they a bit of a side of themselves, a sense of pride, you know, and that's what it should be. But when I hear these stories and how they break out and everything, I kind of like, I struggle to find the words to be able to talk about this issue. It's just wrong, very wrong. And I think that we need to do a lot better to sort this out, a lot better. So, yeah, who's going to be my do-gooder, well, not do-gooder, my extraordinary person of the week? We're going to move it on. Let's see. There's been a few candidates for this week. There's been a few candidates this week. I'm just going to try and figure out who's going to be my extraordinary person of the week. Let's see. Actually, there's only one person I can actually think of. There's one person. Right. Let me have a quick look. I'm just making sure. right? My my extraordinary person of the week is gonna go to someone who kind of understands where they're at and understands what's going on. And I'm talking about Chadwick Boseman. I saw Black Panther last week, and right now the film's continuing to break records. It's on its way to gross $1 billion in the box office. $1 billion. And as much as I'm a Marvel fan, like, obviously it's expected to do well, but it's transcending to a lot of things. And earlier this morning, before I started this podcast, I watched this clip of him on the Jimmy Fallon show, and there's certain people that's been talked about what the film kind of means to them, and he sat down there and he stood there, and he resonated the proudness and the happiness that he's made for these people. Because when we're talking about Black Panther, obviously it's talked about African culture, it's talked about Afroism, it's talked about black people as a whole. And me as a black man, yes, I'm very proud of that, but also it's just been talked about that it's been having a strong cast, and it celebrates the whole black excellence, and I'm just kind of proud of what was going on. So he's gonna get the Extraordinary Person of the Week award, because he understands the role. I mean, most actors, right, they go through their whole careers, and some of them, they do different things and they different people and everything. But you always kind of think to yourself, there's one thing that actually stands out, one thing that actually makes them think that, yes, they're that person, because that's how we remember them, that's how we do the things, and nobody else can do the role and everything. Nobody. But with Chadwick Boseman, I've been reading up about what he's been doing. He's been donating toys to kids. He's been reaching out to people. He's even spoke about one of the fans that he met that had terminal cancer, and he got really emotional about it, talking about it, when he understands how this sort of role talks about people and everything, and understands what it means and how it's supposed to be done and everything. So he gets the Extraordinary Person of the Week award, and I just figured that that's the best thing, really. So I'm done talking about this whole thing. We're gonna move on to next week. Well, not next week, but we're trying to get the 4th episode up as soon as I can, as long as I can find a topic to talk to and time to talk about it. In the meantime, keep it to Shakedown, and yeah, peace out.
Once, and I'll tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, and I'll tell you twice. The